Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and we're finally driving at the brand new BMW M4, and guess what? It has a manual transmission. So of course this must be the base model with the rear drive. It only comes with a manual transmission. We're going to get to driving in a minute, but I just wanted to go over some specs for you before we take it out for a good long drive. Base price for this car, $71,800. This is a fully loaded press car pretty much, so the MSRP is $97,545, and that includes $995 for destination fees. So some notable options, most expensive of which is the ceramic brakes, is $8,150. Looks really nice. The M Carbon exterior package, that's $4,700. The M Driver's package, $2,500. M Drive Professional, $900. Executive package, $2,800. And the beautiful leather interior, which is a combination of Silverstone and black leather, which is $2,550. This is a beautiful color, Brooklyn Gray, one of my favorite colors on the car, which is a $550 option. So remember, there's three distinct M3s and M4s now. There's the base model, which are only rear drive stick shift. There's competition models, which only come with the 8-speed torque converter auto, but you get the extra horsepower and torque. And the competition models are two distinct models, either rear drive or now what's coming out right now as you're seeing this video, the X drive, which is the all-wheel drive. So here in base form, which is only available stick, is 473 horsepower, 406 foot-pounds of torque. The car weighs about 3,800 pounds depending on how it's configured. Now remember, if you go up to the competition, you have to take the automatic transmission, 503 horsepower, and 479 foot-pounds of torque. So is the manual worth it to have a manual and less horsepower and torque? Watch this video to the end to find out. All right, guys, we're going to start driving it right now. Thanks again. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And now here is the video. All right, it's pouring rain. We're going to get out. All right, so here we are, the new M4, and this is a base model, so it's rear drive stick shift. Beautiful car. I believe this color is Brooklyn Gray. Very, very sharp color. We got some black trim, and you can trim this all out, optional. Make it carbon fiber like the diffuser, which looks pretty cool. You always have the quad tailpipes. That's how you know if a car is a real M car. I'll try not to get hit by lightning here because it's pouring rain. Good looking car. Have optional ceramic brakes. A face only a mother could love. But you know what? When you're driving, who cares? Supposedly that's for cooling and also for presence on the Autobahn. Now these aren't the carbon fiber buckets. These are the regular seats, as you can see. Plenty of room back there once you get back there. Plenty of headroom and legroom. Beautiful standard seats here. Nice color combo. This has the extended leather. So this has the trim going down here. This would be black if you didn't get that. Again, you have your gear meter, your gas. Gas mileage isn't the best of this car. Otherwise, all these controls are like the 330 and the 340. So there's really nothing special here, except you get a little thicker steering wheel, all the M badges, the carbon fiber, the M1, M2 button. So you can turn in an M1, and that'll give you certain settings. M2 will give you other settings. So we're going to do M1. The way this is set up is M2 with limited stability control and traction control, which we're not going to do. We're not allowed to do it at a press event. And what we could do here too, so we're going to put it in reverse. It's a 6-speed. We got a good, decent backup camera here. All right. Parking brake, unfortunately, is electronic. It's right in the center console. With a stick shift, you know, you want that parking brake, but this car's newer. It doesn't roll back on hills. You got the nice carbon fiber accents here. I love that it's a stick shift. To me, my perfect daily driver spec would be a stick shift with all-wheel drive. My perfect weekend car would be the rear drive stick shift. I am disappointed you can't get the full horsepower on the competition version, which is only available with the torque converter auto. They turn up the boost on it. Nice steering wheel here. They moved the heated steering wheel here. My car has it, the M340 X Drive. When I had my 2016 M2, it was hidden on the column here, which is much harder to find. You have all your controls here, like the carbon fiber, your M1 and M2 buttons. All your menus here gives you navigation. You can set any of your sport modes. You could program them in here. You can do my mode. And then, so this is the regular instrumentation. And this is very similar except for a higher red line than I have in my car. Then we can do it in, let's do my mode here again. So we can press it road, regular, sport, and then track. Track you got to keep. So road's going to give you your regular stuff here. We'll drive in sport mode. You get the sport gauges, and you also get your temperature here. And obviously it's going to be a little more fun to drive. A lot more fun to drive. So here's our electronic parking brake. You have plenty of room in the center console here. We checked out the backup camera, same as mine. All right, so let's roll. Stick shift is only available in the rear drive base model. The competition, which gives you just over 500 horsepower and then 70 foot-pounds of torque more than this, is only, unfortunately, available with the torque converter automatic, and you can get it in a rear drive or an all-wheel drive variant. We were supposed to have the all-wheel drive version here, but Road and Track took it. Darn you, Road and Track. I really wanted to drive that car. But the first impressions of this car, it feels really good being rear drive. I'm really impressed, and I love that it's a stick. Now, this car definitely feels a size bigger than the last generation. I've done a lot of F80, F82, F83 videos, M3 and M4 variants on this channel. They get good views, and I love driving them. But this car definitely feels a size bigger. It feels like an M5 to me, and I think it's very similar dimensions to the E39 M5. So to the previous M4, this car is 4.5 inches longer. It's wider. It definitely feels a size bigger. Back seats are pretty big. I don't know if I can fit behind myself being 6 feet tall, but if you're shorter than that, the back seats are actually pretty big without the 4 doors. Essentially, everything is the same. M3 has 4 doors, this has 2 doors. If you want the convertible, because it's 2 doors, it's also called an M4. So we're in sport mode. Hopefully you can see the heads-up display. The electronic nannies are on because I hit the white line and it pulled me back. I would shut most of those off for these press cars. We're supposed to keep all the stuff on, so I have to listen to the rules and be respectful. So we're in third gear here. We still have a ton of power and torque. And this car is quick. When we get to the highway, we'll do a little acceleration. Oh yeah, this car is a fast car. We have to obey the speed limits here, but... So let's go up and down through the gears. Let's see how it is, how the clutch is. And somebody just stops there for no reason. I hate when that happens. All right, so we're in third gear here. We can go to fourth gear. Clutch feels fine. It's a little springy at the end, to be honest, but I'm sure you'll get used to it. Every clutch is different. So when you drive manual transmission cars, and I've owned 100 manual transmission cars, every clutch is different. You always kind of got to get used to it. I only have 20 minutes with the car here, so it's not, I probably won't have time to get used to it, but if you own this car, I don't think it'll be a problem. So we have a G meter here, just like my M340i X-Drive. Now, mine's an X-Drive, so it's all-wheel drive. If you want the stick shift, you can only get the rear drive, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, they don't give you all the power. Basically, the competition versions. There's the C8 Corvette that I just drove. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I post multiple videos a week. We have a C8 convertible video. You just saw that car pass us. I just filmed that before this. Not sure which video you will see first. Really wanted to drive that competition X Drive. I wanted to see how that torque converter automatic was. I was thinking when my M340i lease is up in less than 2 years already. Can you believe that? We're already probably a year and a half into the lease by the time you see this video. And I was thinking of maybe I should have waited for the new M3 because I need 4 doors for my real estate business. And, you know, maybe that would have been the smarter move. Now, it is much stiffer than my car. You can see this is a stiff road to begin with, but it's bouncing even more. Now, the C8 Corvette that we just drove, even in the pouring rain, was able to put the power to the ground. We'll check here if this car can. Oh, yeah, it can. Oh, wow. Yeah, so this is a stupid fast car. Like, I thought my M340i X-Drive was faster. I mean, was fast, not faster. And this car blows my car away as far as speed goes. Yeah, I'm getting used to the clutch now. Very easy to shift gears, so we can go into fifth gear. So this is the instrumentation you're getting in the sport mode. You got the tachometer like a race car, heads-up display. It also shows you speed, your gear you're in, you're the speed limit. Here you have the gauges, just like the M8 we've reviewed, where the tachometer goes up and down. I believe if we come out of sport mode, we have the regular gauges like I do on my M340i X-Drive, which aren't as exciting. I like the analog gauges. I guess I'm old school. I love how my 1M or the E92 M3 is, E46 M3. So as you know, if you follow the channel, I've had 8 old M cars, and I love those cars to death. So none of these new electronics is going to convince me that these gauges are better, but that's just me. Let me know what you prefer in the comments, the digital gauges or the analog ones. Now we have 4S tires on this car, and the good thing about the Michelins is they actually handle the rain pretty well. You can rev match yourself like I'm doing, or you could have the car rev match for you. It's foolproof. I prefer rev matching because all my other cars don't have rev matching. So what I don't want is to be spoiled, say, by my daily with rev matching, and then on the weekends I go to my, the 911, the S2000, the NSX, all those cars, and then I have to rev match myself. So I'd rather just rev match myself all the time. To me, that's just the easiest way to do it. Now, if you only have one car and you want to rev match, that's great, but it's hard to get back, I think, to heel toe when someone or something has rev match for you. All right, so we're going to pull over in this parking lot here. The rain was actually worse. When I drove the C8, the rain was so bad you couldn't see. I was standing under a tent waiting for this car, and there was so much thunder and lightning. This is definitely a car I'm considering for my next daily driver. Now, this is a bumpy road as well. I can tell we're in sport mode, and obviously there's suspension changes here. This is stiffer than my M340iX drive. And again, this is more of a sports sedan than that car. That car I'll classify as essentially a fast luxury car. All right, so unfortunately, it's still pouring rain. Go through some bumps here. We're driving in sport mode, so it gives us a much better heads-up display, much better in our digital gauges, a more aggressive tachometer and speedometer. Now, not the ideal car to drive in the pouring rain, but it's come a long way. I had an E46 M3, my first one. When that got stolen, I went to an Audi S4 for a short period of time, which was phenomenal in the rain. And then I went back to an E90 M3 rear drive, and I thought, wow, going from all-wheel drive, am I going to be able to take, terrible weather, pouring rain? And you know what? The E90 M3 was perfectly fine when it's rear drive, stick shift, and in the rain, and also in the winter with the proper tires. Proper tires negate anything. So if you think, you could definitely get this car if you want a manual, and that's how you should get it. Get a manual, rear drive, and just put snow tires on it. I think 90% of the time you'll be fine. The biggest situation I find is just getting out of your driveway because you get plowed in. All right, so we'll wait for these cars to go. But this car has impressed me. Now, everybody's telling me that the competition is better, has better sound, 70 more foot-pounds of torque, more horsepower by turning up the boost. So maybe they're right, but this is the only one I've driven so far, and I love it. I would definitely get a new M3 or M4 in manual. Figures it poured. Where I live in New Jersey, it's not even raining, but up here it's pouring. So, and we're not too far away from my house in New Jersey. So what a difference the weather makes. If I had this press car at my house, I'd be perfectly fine. But here, I am not. But all the electronics now, speed-sensitive wipers, stability control, traction control, there's really nothing to worry about. Very smooth on the highway, definitely stiffer. And again, I'm in sport mode with the sport suspension than my M340i X-Drive in sport suspension mode. I would even say it's a little louder here. There's probably less sound editing. I hear the competition sounds better, so maybe they tweaked that a little bit to have more of an experience. Now, it's changed with the times. Unfortunately, every car has gotten bigger, heavier, and faster. This is pushing 4,000 pounds. I think it's about 3,900 pounds, give or take. I think the automatic competition is slightly even heavier. It hides its weight pretty well compared to a lot of 4,000 pound cars I've driven, but it's not my E46 M3. It doesn't feel like that. But it's a hell of a lot faster. I mean, that car, if you've owned both, you would say is very slow compared to this car. All right, so we'll take it back to the drop-off point because somebody else is waiting. But this this definitely, these new cars I really see as a daily driver. I mean, if you're lucky enough maybe to have a commuter beater, then get this stick shift rear drive and that'll be your fun car on the weekends. But because everything is so heavier and more electronic now, the good news is, you know, they've compensated for a lot of the weight by just making the cars crazy fast. I think if they were slow or the same acceleration of my E90 M3, 46 M3, you probably wouldn't buy it. But you're like, oh, what's the 0 to 60 time? Oh, 3 point something seconds? Yeah, of course. Now, I think this is more like 4 because it's the stick shift and the rear drive. I've seen the competition in the mid 3s, and I've actually seen tests of the X drive, which I really wanted to drive today, but Road and Track has it about 3 seconds, 3 flat to 60 with the X drive competition, and 3.1. The downside of driving a car like this is you're always going to get behind some kind of Jeep Cherokee somewhere. Oh, good, he's letting me go. Thank you. And they never pull over. And you know, they're going slow on the straightaways. Just wait till they get to the twisties. Now, this is a bumpy road, so if you see the camera shaking, it's really more the road. Even when I drove up here today in my M340iX drive, yeah, we were bouncing all over the place. So that's where handling and suspension compliance really come into play. So when I had my Mustangs or my Corvettes, you know, you hit a bump, would send you flying over the edge here, and there's no guardrail. Where the modern cars, especially I think the German cars, you know, the BMWs, the Porsches, the bumps don't faze them, you know? The bumps really don't faze them. All right, let's see if we can downshift a second for this tight turn. And it was pretty seamless downshift, seems pretty easy to heel toe. Now, if this were my car and it was dry, I'd be driving a lot more aggressively, but since it's not my car and it's raining, I have to be respectful. So I have to obey all the speed limits. But this is fun. I could definitely see this as daily driver. Now, carbon fiber buckets, which I believe are a $3,800 option. If you're going to use this as a weekend car, or maybe you're 22 years old, that's fine. To me, I've sat in them and they're fine once you get in them, but they're really hard to get in and out. I think you'd wear the seat pretty badly going over it. Unfortunately, it could not be my daily driver. I wear a suit and a tie. Well, maybe not a tie, but I wear a suit to work, obviously, since I am a commercial real estate broker. And I would, I think, rip my pants every day going in and out of those seats. Plus, I think, you know, that centerpiece is not in a good area and you could hurt yourself if you're not careful. But they do look cool. You know, you want to be the star of Cars and Coffee, you get the carbon fiber buckets. If you want to make it as a daily driver, I say you don't. All right, guys, that is the M4 base manual rear drive. I love it. If you want this M3, you need the 4 doors, then get the M3, but it's a fantastic car, and I say go buy it. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell because I got a lot of brand new car reviews coming. Thanks for watching.